love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just level up. Don't be scared. Back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just level up. Don't be scared.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Again, sorry for being late a little bit. Let's try to clean this thing up because this is a horror show at this stage. Oh shit, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like that and just use another one. We'll see. We'll figure this out as we go, right? So bear with me. Bear with me. Yes. How's everybody doing? Hello to Leo. Hello to Nannies, of course. Pools 77. I'm rather sure I've never seen you here before, so of course, welcome. I guess let's start with the show. I guess I'm not seeing too many hellos. I missed Sky. Hello, hi, hello, and let's get into things. S&P today, a lot more negative than even I was expecting, which is pretty crazy to say. 55.35 at the moment as we're making this video. In fact, almost touched 5,500 flat. We were at 55.04 just earlier, just about like a couple of hours ago ish, which is phenomenal. Again, today's price action more so was expected to be more bullish than bearish, considering the recent numbers that came out and sort of the sentiment is slightly improving. We're having some sort of doubts about how bad can everything get. Why? Because some of the assets yeah, pardon me, I've been doing a little bit better, having a bit of a corrective movement, which all in all, considering how bad the pain was, that corrective movement is actually rather significant. I mean, we saw a drop of, here you can see on Palantir, 70 range-ish, the low 70s, handle all the way back to almost 85, almost. So all in all, things are kind of slightly improving, but then again, those who are more objective realize that things are still not great. And that's not necessarily that we're going to retain this channel all along. Of course, we're going to retest certain supports and resistances. If anything, there we spoke about this, the assets. I mean, in my intro video on my channel, you probably watched this. This is something I spoke about literally 2 months ago in advance, telling you 2 months ago it started. So it's starting and it's going to be inevitable and this and that, and it's visible even on the individual assets, and it's going to be very, very painful. I warned about this a lot in advance, like a lot. I'm not even going to say like, you know, a couple of months. I literally warned many months in advance, and a lot of this movement was unpredictable and unpredicted in the first place. So what we ended up is having an excessive movement, and then it all had to be corrected at some point, right? And now we're seeing more or less part of that corrective movement beginning. Tesla has begun to correct upside. Now today's price action actually brought it lower, but all in all, as you can see on my chart, and I was just explaining it earlier to somebody, although it is still low, right? It's a higher low, and so it implies that at least if we'll retain this upwards trend temporarily, so if the indices will be permissive, we'll probably end up reaching a higher point that we are right now. I would say that right now mostly what we're seeing is horrible slippage. I doubt if that's going to be the channel we will retain. I think in a bit of the longer sort of term, you can kind of see what I am implying. What I am saying is far more likely, in my humble opinion, and again, I could be wrong, but it's all sort of based on the analysis, that we're going to retain this sort of channel. Let me try and switch it color so you can kind of see. So basically, we'll end up breaking back up. Right, let me try and clean it up. I know it's kind of invisible, but there is a channel right now, right there. It's hard to see. It's derived from before data, supports levels and resistance levels that we're very well familiar with. We tested, they're very strong. I warned about them in advance, as you can see, basically in various other sort of portions of the process. I've warned about this floor being the floor, eventually overturning to be the seating. And so now far more likely that we will retest that level as well on the way up before ending up to sort of get stuck in this channel. Again, I am showing in terms of time, it does not necessarily have to take this amount of time. This is an overall sort of rough sketch of what the price action will look like. It doesn't necessarily going to take exactly that amount of time. I'm just stretching it sometimes so you guys can see the sort of price action that I'm talking about. Bottom line, what you need to derive about Tesla, for example, is that we're going to be moving again within this channel. I do show this thing. You're like, Greg, well, what is this then? This is if things will get like really well for Tesla during the up rally, one of those waves, temporarily so, we might as well test some highs. I'm not saying this will be the particular highs, but I'm showing that we might, even though this will be the channel, doesn't mean we cannot slip out, temporarily test some new highs for this sort of range of things. Of course, old highs, if you really want to be more precise, new highs relative to where we are on the map. But more so, this sort of formation is also very likely because of that sort of head and shoulders structure that we spoke about before, right? Of course, this shoulder is still very excessive. Highly excessive, in fact. This is really something that I kind of permitted myself to talk about. In fact, if things will get like super good, I don't even think that the market will get to that 414 anymore. We are probably looking at best possible, possible case and best case possible scenario is 380 range. 383, as you can see, there's a set of very strong supports and resistance levels right there. Of course, we're talking about a 50% retracement as well, 370.19, call it 370 basically. So there are multiple levels. Pulls, give me just 1 second if you don't mind before I finish with the S&P and these sort of things, and we're going to get to the individual tickers. But I guess I'm wrong about you, and you're from here because you're obviously aware that you need to put a star next to the ticker. So my bad, my apologies. You're obviously a constant here, and I'm a moron. So, oh, and here we got the crooked butt pattern. You see, that's what we're here all for, to do crooked butt patterns. You see, now it's a crooked butt pattern. Okay, now all jokes aside, hello, Bedwars gang, hello. Let's go back S&P. Let's go do S&P first, because I think that's sort of the helm of all things. Some tremendously important. We'll cover all that stuff. Let's go over again 5 minutes. I think we can skip the 1 minute. It's unnecessary. The 5 minutes is actually even still bearish. It's just bananas how bearish today's price action is. Although it appears to be sort of overturning slowly, which in essence, if you ask me, it's still the very same low, maybe slightly lower than expected, right? And overall, it appears to be doing it in a channel that sure does exist there. But all in all, when we're going to zoom out, we're going to find out that that's that very same slippage that the assets sort of had right now, and I think we might still see this significant correction to the upside. Well, nothing has changed. We're going to see if that's the case. For right now, on the 5 minutes at face value, we are bearish. But because it's 5 minutes and we're running that close to the end of the session, I'm not going to be all surprised if that what all that means is roughly some level around here, some level of the median or the downwards trend, the short-term range one. So one way or another, I don't think we're actually seeing anything substantial in terms of movement before the market closes. For 30 minutes, if we're going to do something, it might be just retesting similar levels to these, or maybe retesting that, sort of laying down on it. It doesn't appear to be too bearish. Plus 5 minutes, with all due respect. Plus, what we have on the 30 minutes is actually overturning already to be bullish, right? So on the 30 minutes, which is actually a lot more significant, than the 5 minutes, of course. Basically, what you'll see that we came up with today, I've gone through the analysis, it appears to be that we're slowly overturning, even though because of the momentum, we ended up getting carried away a little bit further down the river, so to speak. Still, it does appear that we will be correcting. Here it is, it's sort of starting to move towards tomorrow, maybe. But more so what I am saying, again, here it is very similar sort of behavior, right? So we're becoming more bullish, even though we're in bearish territory, right? And it's home field for the bears, but actually we're slowly regaining our sort of force, right? Because again, the bears squeezed out everything they had, at least for the temporary sort of time being. Now they have to regain some energy, right? Now those while the bulls were resting, now they overtake. Right here on the 1 hour, actually, just to sort of finish the thought that I had, the idea here is that what we're seeing is that next week appears to be the more bullish time, so the more bullish period. And I really don't, I'm not sure whether tomorrow is going to be all that bullish and crazy and nice and all that beautiful stuff, when in reality, again, we had this price action today. What I will tell you that it appears, and we will see that in a little bit, that it appears to be far more certain than that next week is where we're going to see more of the brunt of that bullish momentum, that upside movement, rather than actually tomorrow. So tomorrow might actually not be that impressive, quite boring. One of the factors that also makes us think that there's a high probability of the price action retesting higher. As you can see, we are right now on the 4-hourly chart. We can see we are currently at the bottom of the channel, and so this brings up high probability of the price action at least retesting that nearest major resistance, which is 5,700. I would argue 56, of course, is still very strong as well. Not going to be all that surprising if we end up retesting that, but from this standpoint, it's going to be very normal behavior of the price action, the market, to end up retesting all of them, just to end up retesting 5,800, as we said, which is the center, the median of the current downwards channel that we're moving within. Even though, by the way, I warned about this, how we will end up slipping out and transitioning to the other channel, sort of the next one in line, and I warned about this a while back. You can see it happening right now. You can watch my videos, go to the lives, to the channel, and just watch all the older videos and see I've been predicting all of these things, and now they're just coming about. And so, look, we do have multiple ranges that will get tested, but all of you know how I like to mention the market likes these wedges, and so all it's not going to be all that surprising if most of the bullish momentum that we're even talking about will be spent around that wedge that we're forming right now, the transition, right? That sort of transitional trend, the new one, the channel that we're currently moving into, and so the median, based upon all that bullish momentum that we're seeing from some of the time frames. For example, sure, we are seeing convergence, divergence between at the 50 range, which is not all that healthy, but it's not below the 50 range. It's happening on top of the 50 range, right? So we're seeing 47, right? And we're seeing 54, 51. So it's kind of like in the middle. It's uncertain. No, this is really bullish. This is really bullish. Why? Because it's not sure. It's bearish, bullish, it's somewhere in between. Objectively, at face value right now, it's what? More bearish, right? But because we're seeing that we're at that transitional point, it's going to be a little surprising if we will have a crossover of the forces again. Why? Because the larger time frame, which is the daily, is actually saying, look, it's normal for us to go bearish when we go into oversold territory. Sure, here we got that tremendous, wonderful wave down. But the same way we're not biased, as Stonks, I think, said yesterday, the non-biased analyst, right? The unbiased, whatever he said, however he said it. At the end of the day, what you can see currently on the chart, the same way we move up, right? If we move upwards, if we have a trend that is moving upside and then a corrective movement just to continue to the upside, the same way when we transition to that sort of back end of things, right? The adverse movement, we will have movements that are directioned downwards and corrective movements that are positioned upwards, but they are merely corrective, meaning there will be oftentimes just a smaller percentage of the movement that we just had, and now we're correcting on. And so, as you can see, we've been running, well, cold, since it's a bearish territory, right? So the bottom for far too long, and it's time to warm things up. Even though we do say when we do penetrate these territories, at times it's quite normal, and you should find what is an average period of time for such an impulse to happen. And more often than not, we do have these blow-off tops that just break out and break down and just completely it's done, transition and crossover, and that's it, right? Have that. But even for now, temporarily, we can see that we've been running cold for a long time, and it's time to heat things up, and that is also very normal to how the cycle looks like and behaves normally. And more so, the really important thing, if we now switch to the weekly, bam, right? Here you can see that we've been in this downwards sort of trend for a long time, started the correction, and as it's a custom, as we know, even on the weekly, as we're coming to an end of this week, we start to see how the market is moving slowly towards a convergence divergence. And remember, we don't need to see here a ginormous impulse when the green force of the K takes dominance. The green line is K, the red line is D, and that's how they're titled. The green line represents bullish momentum, the red line bearish momentum, or rather actually represents the loss of bullish momentum, but that's a whole different ballgame. For you, might as well treat it, the participants, the viewers, treat it as bearish momentum, right? Because if the plane loses momentum in the sky and the engines stop working, it gains momentum as it's dropping because of gravity, right? Consider this gravity, basically, and the acceleration of the plane to towards the earth. And okay, so what we're saying here is that we're coming to a transitional point, which will probably grant us with some bullish momentum that we'll already see on some of the smaller time frames, and it sort of works in line very, very neatly. The problem is I cannot now switch to the monthly and show you that everything is fine, because everything is not fine. This is just the beginning. And remember, all in all that bullish greatness that I'm talking about, it is merely a temporary correction before the market actually continues to move down. We can see it clearly right here on the monthly time frame, which is very distinctively bearish and will remain so for quite a long time. Yeah, that's kind of it, at least for the S&P. I see we're very quiet on the chat today. I don't have a big problem with that. Sure, whatever. Let's check out real quick. Lulu, so that was the right place. Let's check out Meta. We have pools here asking for Meta. Let's check out Meta. Actually, I don't mind doing that. I think it's not such a bad idea, since I haven't checked Meta in a bit. I think at least a couple of days. I don't remember anybody asking for them. But I mean, I have a feeling that, yeah, I already have the analysis on the screen. Yeah, I don't have to go anywhere. Here it is. So basically, as you can see, so far so good. I'm kind of on point. We're moving downwards towards the range of, right, which I know I kind of exaggerated with this circle, but I'm thinking that what I meant was probably these two gaps that we need to close. I'm not going to be all that surprised. Right now we're hitting this daily, but still, I'm not going to be all that surprised if that's our destination, and even more so, I'm not going to be all that surprised if we're going to test these, maybe involving somehow that golden pocket on the Fib retracement right there at 474 and 482.44. So there's stuff there to be tested. We can see this level, this range, these levels play a ginormous role and have done so before, so it's not going to be all that surprising if we will redo so again. But so basically, it seems that you're currently the same as the rest of the market, even if you're going to have some interference and sort of noise right here, right? You're going to get entangled, however you want to call it. There's like a billion ways to call it. Bottom line, even if we spend some time right here within this range and then end up slipping over just to fall into this range to maybe test that. But all in all, your downwards direction, sort of, you like everything that it appears to be, it very much is in line. And you see, even if you have these misleading time frames that are kind of in between, again, you're just entering bearish sort of territory, right? Oversold territory, which means you still have a little bit more downwards price action to go. And that would be the breakdown out of this current channel that we're seeing on the weekly. And your monthly is looking like a dumpster fire, basically. Just like, which is not that surprising. I mean, it's like it started to drop, slow down a little bit, continue, probably will slow down, retest, and continue again. That's a very normal behavior transition to the process for a regular corrective movement on the asset. It's just that it's such a large time scale that you guys forgot yourselves. Like you don't realize how high we got, how far, and how impossible for this to be maintained without actually taking a significant correction. And if you're more so objective, you realize this whole thing looks like a head and shoulders, and no one says the market has to drop and be identical. In fact, it's very less probable. What is far more probable is for the market to form some sort of structure, because remember, the head and shoulders doesn't have to be identical nor symmetrical. It is symmetrical on the sort of structure point of view. It has both, it has two shoulders, right, two necklines, but you get the idea. It doesn't have to be identical in terms of levels or structure or similarity in terms of the how length, or there are so many other factors that can play into this shoulder. In fact, it can actually look like this and still be a valid one. So, but we are looking at a head and shoulders, it appears to be. And so all in all, basically a slow descent towards the high 200s and low 300s. That's what it appears to be right now. That all in all, even if it's going to be very gradual, even though you're going to have some corrective movements, you're going to retest these 400 levels. All in all, I mean, it's pointed downwards pretty clearly. You're coming to an end right here on the quarterly chart. Basically running out of bullish momentum, will overturn probably very shortly. We're kind of seeing how you're losing the momentum. You see how you were running very quickly. You can see by the size and sort of the transition of the candlesticks, and slowly transitioned from being pulling up. Now you start to getting these sort of pull back candlesticks, and slowly you run out of momentum altogether, and you're going to start correcting, right? So now we're starting to see part of that corrective movement is to diminish that candlestick that we had, that will, by the way, close the quarter. I'll remind all of you the quarter closes in 18 days. And so in 18 days, we're going to see a lot of that, these significant time frames that we look at to identify the movements for the long run, right, will actually readjust, and we'll be having something more objective to look at and to identify whether we were right, wrong, what the market is doing, that sort of thing. That's enough with that. And my chat is stuck or something, because I'm not seeing you guys asking anything new, or I guess today nobody's viewing. If nobody wants to watch because I'm giving unpleasant info, is that it? test of the chat. You're a legend, Leo. Thank you very much. No, I obviously I do understand that nobody's asking anything. It was more of a hint. If you guys want to ask something, now is the time. Otherwise, we're gonna adjourn today's call early, so everybody will be able to go to do their things, so to speak. I mean, all in all, it's not like there is anything new that we spoke about today that we didn't expect, right? We kind of we knew this stuff. We did get a little bit more bearish momentum than we expected to see today, but all in all, in the grand scheme of things, this was expected. I warned about this so many times. QBTS. Let's check out QBTS real quick. I don't think that's going to be too difficult. I think we just did it recently, no? Right, I'm not mistaken, right? I'm just to make sure I'm not singing. Okay, so yeah, I see. Just as I remembered, we have had some analysis done over this, retesting the very same previous ranges. Not exactly as I expected. I expected to sort of retain and only then eventually make it back to that range, maybe even retest higher. So it sort of outdid what I've expected for it to do. So, I mean, that's not that bad, I see, all in all. It still is the idea here that it's probably going to retain that channel for a longer duration. whether it's going to happen one way or another. That sort of doesn't really matter when I look from the far away point of view, whether it's going to do that or it's going to do that, right? It doesn't really matter to me. It's kind of all in all, you get the idea. And if we're looking from afar, sometimes we get it slightly wrong, but this is appearing to be very distinctively like it's going to correct. You see right here, I'm going to just remove that. You see we're coming to a moment where the momentum is running out. We're of course retesting some highs. That's 681 and the top range of that channel. And so that kind of makes sense. That totally makes sense. Maybe earlier than I've expected, right? I've expected to happen later down the line, but I already see that we spoke about this channel, how it's going to be retained, probably tested down, then back up. We've derived that. Let's see how our weekly looks like. In fact, it looks like most of the charting was done somewhere in between time frames. This is a cherry pattern, right? If you have two cherries and two stems, right? This is how you do technical analysis. You find where the cherries align, and this is how you do. Just kidding. Okay, so I see, yeah, the grand scheme of things that I was sort of talking about. Hello, dear attendants. Hey, Stunky. Okay, so yeah, but it's very simple. I mean, the idea that I was trying to show off, and apparently that's why it looks so bizarre, maybe because what I was charting is the grand scheme of the idea that we're going to be moving sort of downwards with this. It appears to be the market will be taking it slowly downwards just to test that median, potentially that wedge. That's what it appears to be. And now let's bring up all the noise, just so I can kind of make it seem later so we can understand what the hell that is that I was talking about. Potentially, maybe, right? No, that's not clear. That is a little bit more clear, right? Maybe even like that, right? Remember, the market can be very volatile as long as it's sort of keeping up its downwards trend. It's not going to be all that It's not going to be all that surprising if there will be some slippages as well. That's very normal. Hit the like button. Yes, I also agree with Stonky. You need to hit the like button. Very good, very good. Also, those who are not on Patreon yet, definitely sign up. The Patreon right now is 50% discounted. People who are not signing up are missing out very, very badly because it's 50% discounted, like I said. And it will not remain like that forever. It will remain for those who already signed up, but it will transition back to those who will wait forever and a bit. I don't know what they're waiting for the Holy Spirit to remind them now it's time to sign up. Let me see if I can get this thing real quick showing properly. Properly. Sorry, maybe I should have done the address first. That would have been smart. But, you know, smart is not my strongest suit. So, where is that thing? Where is the membership thingy? Chats about become a member. Let's see. So it becomes a member. Yeah, right. You see the 10% on top of everything. By the way, you can drop it 10 more percent. And you're like, this is insignificant, right? But this tier is $20 and this one is $40. So definitely take advantage. You have the breakdown of what they offer. When you will join the Discord, very important, you will be met with this one channel that will have all the info on how you connect your accounts, so you can then log into the proper Discord, see all the value that is in the Discord itself. Beyond this, just discussions and stock tickers, and that you can add yourself and discuss and ask questions about. Open chat. Hi, Stonky. You guys can join us on a daily basis and discuss with us, ask questions, and other special activities, of course, just sort of random conversation topics and whatnot. And of course, technical analysis stuff that is sort of ingrained in the Discord. It's the headquarters, the hub of the community, if you will. And I'm there all the time. At least I try to, unless I'm on a one-on-one session. Which brings me, hurry up. This weekend's the one-on-one sessions are gonna be either just off the table. I do offer one-on-one interactive that I teach you, no videos, bullshit sort of thing, just watch this and good luck. No, I teach you one-on-one. We have sessions weekly, bi-weekly, whatever the schedule works with, in mine as well. Right now, it is still at a very, very good price. Later down the line, the price will be going up. Again, remember the original price is a lot higher than I continue to offer. And so definitely take advantage of that. Right now, there are only 2 spots. Only 2 spots available. I warned, don't cry, don't come crying to me, oh Greg, I wanted, but I couldn't, and this and that. 2 spots are left, and once they are filled and no more, at least for some time. Or if we come to basically just tomorrow, you're left with tomorrow. Those who don't sign up tomorrow, that's it, it's all done, and bummer. And if you really want to know how to do proper technical analysis, advanced technical analysis, not just the stuff I teach here, even more advanced stuff, more advanced tools, more so the why of the market, why the market does what it does. Join my Discord, open a support ticket, let me know you want to inquire about the One-on-One Academy. We'll have a Q&A, a conversation, a call. Make sure you're available for an actual voice call to do that. Ask me about the One-on-One Academy, and I will be gladly providing you with all the information you want. Alrighty, I think since, well, yeah, no, it's not just about, since we don't have any tickers, I really do need to get some stuff done, so I'm gonna run away early today. I think I kind of left with you with everything you need, all in all, everything going according to plan, other than maybe the market is being slightly more bearish than we expected. But in the context of things, it's not all that tremendous, right? You can, there is another factor we will talk about, by the way, in the communities, how well the SQQQ doing, while we're having this almost very flat, if you will, price action, although it is negative to some extent, but it's more so flat. And if you compare the two to how the movement was prior to, it is far more bearish on the SQQQ side of things. Again, we were expecting this. Is why we were loading up. Those who want to know, I have 900 SQQQs right now. Why so very little is because there was a reverse split. So my equivalent of 4,500-ish plus shares are now basically these 900, if you will. Okay, yeah, no, it's gonna be a 5 when I make it 1,000, right? Divided by 5, and so yeah, there's that, or multiply by 5. Actually, really, it's gonna be properly then to adjust. Just multiply it by 5. Imagine I was having like 5,000 shares. Ish. No, but it is what it is, though, and does benefit in some. It does benefit us in some form or ways. But currently, whenever I have another opportunity in the market goes against my plans, as some would think, basically the market dips again, right? We're having the ceiling currently being tested. It's basically the 40-39 range, I would argue, on the SQQQ. And if, you know, oh, Greg, must be hard seeing the market, the SQQQ dip. Like, no, it doesn't. Why? Because I just load up whenever it does. And I don't care whether it's here, or here. I'm happy with the result of all of these. Why? Because when the market is up, I'm happy. All right, that's how swing trading is done, kind of, right? Or rather properly sort of DCAing into a swing, especially when you know you're already on the upper side of things, even if it's going to be sort of transitional, there's a lot of back and forth. If you see the longer end of things, you know how it's going to play out, when you can analyze things, well, guess what? It makes all the sense in the world. Alrighty. Thank you so much. Do you think we will come down to before the bounce? Bad words. I'm gonna kick you. Now you're asking problematic questions. What do you mean before? I don't know. In the community, in the Discord, we'll talk about that. It's hard to say, but it appears to be that we are far more likely to go higher than lower first, as you know. 54 is more of that lower end target. So if anything, it appears to be that we're first going to be correcting higher and then moving lower. But again, we're not in the business of timing the market. We're in the business of finding the checkpoints. Right now, the current checkpoint in the closer range looks like we said roughly around the 5,700, 5,900. 54 will happen. We know 54 will happen, but not anytime soon. So if you kind of arrange these events by chronological order and occurrence, it's far more likely that we're going to see the higher end numbers before we see the lower end numbers, regardless of how close we are. Again, since we're not seeing any clear signs, yet, and I know we're that close. Remember, you're talking about 5,400. If you're talking about the handle of 5,400, maybe on a very bad day, the market sense being just so close as is, it will test 5,490, 5,497, just to sort of turn around and do its thing, right? So there's that. All right. Again, final reminder. Those who want to know about the Technical Analysis Academy, the one-on-one academy, right? DM me and join the Discord, which you probably, I hope you have. First of all, we have a link in the description below. You also need to join, well, you don't have to join the Patreon. And also, I probably will be able, if you bear with me, just half a second, I'll be able to put in an email on which you can reach out to me and ask me about the one-on-one academy, right? Give me just a second. I'll post it in the chat. In the one-on-one academy, I teach how to do proper technical analysis, so you're not dependent on anybody, like I said. And I have only 2 spots that I've actually opened up extra because there was such high demand, but I'm not sure where the demand all gone because I'm about to close them tomorrow. Okay, reminding you, boys and girls, this is sort of the final warnings. Don't miss out on this. Here is the email on which you can email me if you're interested in the one-on-one academy. You don't know how to get on Discord first and all that. Reach out to me through that email, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and explain about the one-on-one academy. There are only 2 spots. Again, don't miss out. Tomorrow is the last day to sign up. Okay? Yes, there is a cost involved, of course, but relatively to what is being offered out there, so to speak, in the YouTube sphere and pretty much anywhere that I've seen so far, I have the cheapest price with the maximum amount of results. That's the reality of things. That's it. So I think we're good for today, boys and girls. I'll wish you a wonderful evening, morning, night, whatever you have, wherever you're at. And I will see you either... Chag Purim Sameach. John, believe it or not, that's why part of the reason why it took me a couple more minutes longer to get started is because they were passing by my house with the Purim thingy, right? With all that whole noisy thing. I don't know if you know exactly what I'm talking about, but there's this like a parade thing that they do with all the kids in costumes and all that, and it's pretty noisy. And it was just passing as I was just about to start the live, right? And they were passing by. But thank you very much. Chag Purim Sameach to you as well. I really appreciate those who don't know. Purim is a holiday similar to Halloween in Israel. It's just that it's less based in like horror theme. It's not horror themed. You can kind of dress up in whatever you want and all that sort of fun stuff, right? So those who, I mean, yeah, of course, John. What am I talking? Freaking moron, the JP. It's you. I forgot. Yeah, of course you know. But I don't know if you know the about the parade thingies. You probably do. Anyway, boys and girls, it was awesome doing this live. I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you on the Discord. Inquire about the academy if you wanna sign up because there are 2 spots, like I said, and they're about to get locked. Miss out. It is what it is. Costume parades are huge. Yeah. You probably know what I'm talking about, and they make a lot of noise. And part of I was like I was rushing to try and get everything done, and as I was about to start, of course, they were just passing by. Thanks, Greg, and all attendants. Absolutely, Stonky. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the moderators and participants. Wow. Okay, so participants, thank you all very much. I'll see you on the next one, all on the Discord. Or, join the Patreon, of course, if you do. Then join us on Discord. That way you'll gain the most out of your subscription. And that's it. And by the way, one-on-one academy students gain a lifetime membership to the Discord. I kind of forgot to say that. I can't stand missing out. Join us if you haven't already. No, absolutely. I mean, the community is a remarkable resource, and we talk about anything from, food to technical analysis, to fundamental sort of conditions, to what's the story that's going on in the market, what's the sentiment, why. It all depends on what you want to talk about that day, right? It's very, very open. It's very homey, very family-like, very cool place with a lot of great knowledge. All right, I'll see you on the Discord. And like I said, don't forget to ask about the One-on-One Academy. Otherwise, you're missing out. Boys and girls, love you much. See you on the next one. Bye for now.